Hello everybody, my name is Happy and I'd like to welcome you all to my History Reaction channel. Today, we're returning to Sabaton for Stormtroopers. As always, I will include a link to the original video in the description down below. If you enjoy this, please head over to Sabaton and show them some love and appreciation for the effort that they put into their music, their videos, all of it. It's brilliant. Alright, so I'm assuming that we're going to be talking about German Stormtroopers and not about Star Wars. Could be wrong, but based on what I've seen from Sabaton so far, I'm pretty sure we're talking about German Stormtroopers. So this should be interesting. I have no idea what to expect, so we'll just get into this. I'll try to minimize breaking the song, but my purpose here is not to go ooh and ah. My purpose here is to try to add to the history. So we will pause periodically to talk about what they covered. But I'll try to wait till the end of verses or in the end of choruses or instrumental interludes, kind of break it up naturally as much as possible. If you want to see the whole video uninterrupted, the link to it is in the description. So, with that said, here we go. Okay. Getting dizzy already.
There's a standstill in the war, repeating what's been done before. It must come to an end. A few will transcend. They were on 25, and under fire they will thrive. The storm is born, the enemy is gone. A glimpse of the future, new tactics in war, new doctrine in combat explored. As fast as lightning, there's no time to mourn. A glimpse of the future, a Blitzkrieg is born. Strike at 0.
Alright, so it's kind of hard for me to follow the lyrics because of my hearing issues and just because of how visually strong this is and everything going on. But I caught a few things in there enough that I have a pretty good idea where we're going with this. So yeah, we're talking about these Stormtroopers. He mentioned in the beginning how things have come to a standstill and that a few will ascend. He's talking about the origins of the Stormtroopers because we're getting into the period, this is World War I. We've reached a stage where we're getting bogged down in trench warfare. And all sides are kind of looking for ways to break this stalemate because that's basically what it is. And the Germans come up with this idea of elite units, the Stormtroopers. Or at least that's what we call them in English. And they are going to be a very rapid-moving strike special forces group, basically designed to primarily to take out artillery positions, leadership positions, things of that nature behind the enemy line. So their job is to not necessarily to advance the line, so to speak, directly, but to get around it and do some damage to allow the rest of the German troops to take advantage of this situation. So I also saw several mentions and allusions to signs of things to come, and they mentioned speed of lightning and things like that. Clearly, they're referring to Blitzkrieg lightning warfare, which is going to be seen primarily in World War II. But we see its roots here with the Stormtroopers, because their job is to get out of the trench, get where they need to be, do what they're supposed to do, and then get back. So they're very much a rapid-moving special forces unit designed to get around some of the hurdles that they're facing here in First World War with the trench warfare. Let me back that up just a second till we can go right into that chorus. Yeah.
Escalation. Out of the trenches, the stormtroopers rise. Jaggers led the way, pioneers would join the fray. Initiative gained, advancement sustained. Lead to direct command. command as they're advancing through the land, encircling their flanks and ravage the ranks, expose the reinforcements, destroying the lines, new doctrine in combat aligns. Infantry attacks, exposing the cracks, new combat ideals on the Kaiserschlacht fields. Strike at 0 hour with overwhelming firepower. They're fueled by the fear in their enemy's eyes. It's a shock troop infiltration, a fast violent escalation. Out of the trenches, the stormtroopers rise.
They definitely make it scary enough. And if you really think about it, that would have been kind of terrifying to have these special forces. Because they're not playing by the conventional rules, right? They are outside of normal expectation. This is kind of a new thing for this period. And dealing with this, finding ways to deal with these stormtroopers, is going to take some time. And the Allied response to this is pretty chaotic at first. Really, the biggest problem that the stormtroopers are going to face during this time is not their own effectiveness, but the follow-through with the rest of the German armies. Because even though the stormtroopers might be able to create a weakness for the German forces to exploit, they didn't always follow through on that. So we're going to see some development on this as the war goes on, but especially, again, going into World War II. They've had time to think about this. They've had time to expand on this idea. And by the time World War II rolls around, they're going to have much more effective use of this type of special forces tactics. But yeah, during World War I, this would have been an absolute game changer. It was just too little, too late to make a huge difference in the on the German side, especially because this is more of a tactical thing. It's not a strategic thing. In other words, it helps in a specific battle to advance a goal, but it doesn't necessarily translate that over to an overall strategic goal, and that's a very different situation. Let's continue, though. This is a good one. Nothing else, I'm loving the video. And I'm loving the music, but the video is just, wow. Terrifying. That tune is familiar, but I can't place it. Stormtroopers.
There's no time to mourn. A glimpse of the future, and Blitzkrieg is born. Strike at 0 hour with overwhelming firepower. They're fueled by the fear in their enemy's eyes. It's a shock troop infiltration, a fast violent escalation. Out of the trenches, the stormtroopers rise. Strike at 0 hour with overwhelming firepower. They're fueled by the fear in their enemy's eyes. It's a shock troop infiltration, a fast violent escalation. Out of the trenches, the stormtroopers rise.
Okay, yeah, that was good. That was really good. I love the visuals on that one. And the lyrical imagery as well. I think that was brilliant. And again, like they say, this is a glimpse of what's to come with World War II. It's a glimpse of the potential of special forces in the modern world and what they could look like. It is like I said, to go up against something like this would have been terrifying, because especially given the context. People have been bogged down in this trench warfare. There was a rhythm to it, if you will. And these guys kind of broke all the rules, and it's going to be unsettling. But World War I, World War II gets so much of the attention, but World War I think, is a far more interesting war in so many ways. The politics of it are just amazing, in that they make no sense whatsoever. They do, but they don't, if you know what I mean. The conditions these people are fighting under, this French warfare life, if you will, is just horrifying. Stuck in these gloomy, damp, disease-ridden. I can't think of enough negative adjectives to describe what trench life in the trenches must have been like. The constant barrage of artillery going on both sides. No wonder that shell shock, as it was called then, became such a big issue. It's just had to be horribly traumatizing. And then to have things like this, where you have these elite groups that are defying all the conventions of what has been established up to this point, that are striking almost with impunity behind your lines, with these lightning raids, if you will, had to be terrifying. So I think it's a great video. I think it's great lyrics to give the idea of how it had to have felt in the trenches if you were up against the Germans, and suddenly you had this new revolutionary idea. And of course, there've been elite forces before, but this is a very modern incarnation of it, and it would have been, especially in the initial phases when it was first rolled out and you first started having these attacks, it would have been terrifying, and it would have dealt great damage to morale. So great video as always from Sabaton, and I don't know what else to say about it. It was great. I loved it. I don't know that I'd say it's my favorite, but at least I love the video in terms of the animation and the story it was telling. I think it's one of the better ones in that regard. It's just great. So thank you for joining me. See you all next time. Bye-bye.